Hi, my name's Trystan Wynn from Fluid Forge Blacksmithing and from History Channel's Forge and Fire, Season 5, Episode 27. Happy Knife Day, everybody. It's a beautiful August 24th day out here. It's sunny as heck, so it's been fun having to try to find a place that my camera wouldn't glare up and not really be able to see anything. But I like the fence background anyway, and there's some nice hedges, so let's get this party rolling. I thought I'd make a video today talking about my favorite knives and swords that I've made over the past year, and just one from before, a while ago, a couple years ago, that I've just kept with me and tried my best not to throw away, just because I knew that I would like it the further down and the better I got at knife making. So here we go. First off, you've probably seen this one a little too much if you've been following my page. Thank you for all of your support, by the way, keeping up on all of the knives and swords that I've been making, and making sure to get me out there and get me a little more known so that I can follow my dreams and keep doing blacksmithing. But this one is my most recent sword that I've made, and it's just a 22-inch longsword. It's really, honestly, fun to hold and carry around. I use it at home just on like blackberry bushes, and I walk around the property when I'm home alone and stuff, taking out the garbage or what have you. And it's nice to keep on me because it's been really reliable. I actually sharpened it with a diamond steel that I've used since I had it in culinary school. And I didn't think it would do such a good job as it did. I thought I'd have to go back and do some extra honing on it, but the diamond steel put a really good edge on it, and I just had to go over with like E5 to polish up the edge and make it pretty much exactly how I want it to be. In contrast, though, we have this sword that I made when I was 14 years old, 15 years old. Feels like forever ago, and it definitely shows. This sword actually used to be the Elucidator from Sword Art Online, which for all you normal people out there is an anime that was made in 2012 that I was far too into. I have a whole trench coat costume back stored away in a box somewhere. But it used to have these like wild spikes on the side of it for to follow the anime's main character Kirito. But I modified it to look more like just a regular broadsword that fit my size. And I was so proud when I finished the sword. Each time that I actually finished the sword. But it's... Looking on it now, it's so rough looking, and it's got all these pits in the blade and hammer marks. Even though I ground it out of bar stock, I honestly could not tell you why those hammer marks are there. But I did forge the guard for it and put on a beechwood handle that I got the wood from when I was going to the coast one year. And then I peened the back, and all of it just looks so rough and so ugly, but I keep it because it reminds me of how far I've come, and it makes me feel good when I look at it, and then I look at my new stuff, just to see that transformation of this craft for me. But, yeah, so it's a little bit sad looking, but it makes me happy to look at the sad thing. Speaking of being happy looking at sad things, I have this blade that I've been putting off showing to everybody because of how bendy it is. You might actually recognize it from Forge and Fire. This was the katana that I forged and brought out to the East Coast with me. It was probably one of the most stressful and difficult to make blades that I've ever done, but boy am I glad that I made it. This sword was everything that I had and more when I forged it, and I was so distraught when Doug was swinging it at the dummy, and it cut its head off, and the head just hit the floor on the ballistic gel dummy, but I saw the bend in it when he was turning to look at us, and I don't think I've been as sad in my life, honestly, because when you put 110% into something, and you start seeing something crumble apart before your eyes, it's so heavy on your heart that you don't know what to do for a time. But I knew that one day I was going to reforge this blade. Not this one exactly, but I was going to reforge another 1000-layer katana to prove to myself that I could make one of these. And when I came home from Fortune Fire, I tried that almost the next week and failed again. So I know that when I'm able to forge a katana like this, that I'll be the bladesmith that I always wanted to be. But for now, we've got a wonderfully curved blade that could probably take out somebody around the corner. It was kind of hard to see on the show, but one of my favorite parts about this sword was it's got mokumegane fittings for the habaki and the little end cap. I'll get a little closer. I don't know if you can make that out, but it's just a really nice pattern. I thought it would fit really well with the Damascus, the thought of the Damascus being there, because I didn't want to etch this blade. Not only because I didn't have a big enough tank to etch it, but I thought it'd be a little bit romantic, because I didn't think that in Japan that they etched them. But, yeah, I remember in the week when I came home before we actually started making our finale weapons, that I was just running around Salem looking for everything that I might need to make it. So I went out and I bought some lacing. Well, no, the lacing I got from my mom's shoes. But I bought the ray skin that's under the lacing, and the walnut that I used for the handle. And I was still, even though it was for a huge competition, that was probably the only opportunity in my life that I'm going to have to get out there and do my best, I still found a piece that had a problem in it so that I could get a discount on the wood, because it's like $80 a plank for a good piece of walnut, which I think is insane. But so even in the face of absolute peril and stress, I am still trying to be as thrifty as physically possible, and I don't understand why. But that's all in this katana. It'll be nice one day when I make another 1,000-layer katana. Right now I'm actually working on a 168-layer wakizashi, which is scaled down on both sides. It's like a foot long, and then it's got like another few inches for the tang, and it's like 2 or 3 folds away from being at 1,000 layers. So it's a lot more manageable for me as far as the project goes. Actually, Frank helped me forge out the billet with a press, so everything was so much easier using power tools than hammering it out by hand. As far as knives go, this is probably my most recent knife to date. It is a Bowie knife that it's actually my first leather stacked handle that I've ever done. There was a lot of things that I learned before this project that I wanted to implement into it, like soldering guards. I hadn't done before until recently, when again Frank decided that I needed to get better at what I was doing, because on this sword I soldered the guard with his help, and then this one I did on my own for the first time. And it's kind of nice to see myself go from a lot more rustic work to something a little bit more, not elegant, but refined. Refined is the word. But, so this knife is going to be given away on the 2nd of September, I believe. Don't quote me, I only made the giveaway. So yeah, as far as everyday carry knives though, for Knife Day, this is by far my favorite knife that I have made. And I have honestly been thinking about putting it up on the marketplace, but I haven't yet, because I think it's really hard to give away. It was one of the first knives that I ever did a windowed inlay for with a snakeskin that I got at the Eugene Knife Show that I go to every year in April. I actually got a really good deal on the leather there. The guy, I was chatting with him for a while, and I guess he thought I was pretty cool because he gave me a bit of a discount on the leather. He's a really nice guy too, works at Oregon Leather, so go check him out and support him. He does his own work as well down there. And yeah, I finally got myself lacing chisels, so I don't have to punch all the holes by hand anymore. I was getting pretty okay at the front, so like the lacing looks pretty even in the front mostly. I got a little bit of problem right on that edge because it was just too much space right there for me. and the edge is just a little bit wonky on the back. It like goes out a little bit on this stitch and back in on this one. And I'm happy that I finally get to have really even stitching. I even bought myself one of those channel ones so I can put the stitches down further into the leather work. But yeah, this is how big this knife is. It's perfect for my hands, and it's got a little bit of swell on the back, oak, cherry, and purple heartwood with a brass guard, and a little bit of a ricasso so I can get right up there. It really helped when I was skinning that rabbit earlier, and the rabbit skin turned out alright, everybody. It works. I think that I shouldn't have scraped it since it was like still a young rabbit. But oh man, I've been rambling for like this whole time. But I guess that's what this was supposed to be. Anyway, happy knife day to everyone out there, and I hope that you can find the knife of your dreams, whether or not it be on the Forge and Fire marketplace or in a shop at the Saturday market, maybe in your local city, that just calls out to you. Even if it's not the most functional knife, if it's just something that makes you happy, that's the perfect knife. So, adios everybody, and take it easy.